Hello, this is Shivan and welcome to my channel Railways. So today on my first video, I'm going to discuss with you about the DFC or the Dedicated Freight Corridor. Why do we need this corridor? Which company is looking after this project? And what are the advantages and disadvantages of this project? We will go through in this video. The DFC or the Dedicated Freight Corridor is a project undertaken by the Indian government and the Indian Railways. The company which is looking after this project is DFCCIL or Dedicated Freight Corridor Corporation of India Limited. The firm, the Dedicated Freight Corridor Corporation of India Limited, was registered in 2006 under the Companies Act 1956. So, in this company, the major two projects which we are working around right now is the Western Dedicated Freight Corridor and the Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor, under which the Western and the Eastern are partly operational and parts are there which are still under construction. The Eastern Dedicated Freight Corridor stretches from Ludhiana in Punjab to Dankuni in West Bengal, and the Western Dedicated Freight Corridor connects Jawaharlal Nehru Port in Mumbai to Dadri in Uttar Pradesh. Work of both the stretches are almost complete, and the few of them are going to start by 2022, and almost few parts are operational right now. Now, we will come to look after the work processes and how the work is going through. So, in many parts, tracks are already laid, and many parts the process is already going under. In many parts, signaling tests are done, and in many parts, the electrical poles are being placed. This corridor will be completely electrolyzed, means the trains that will pass through here will use the AC traction or DC traction motors, and is very less possibilities for the diesel engines to pass from there. Although we are not sure right now, we will come to know after the corridor is completely completed. When the projects will be over, these projects will connect the eastern parts and the western parts of India with the northern parts, due to which trade will be very much beneficial. And after few years, these parts will always also get connected with the southern parts, a golden quadrilateral that will connect all the metro cities. In these DFCs, the trains will contain double-storied containers. That means one container will be placed on the top of the other, and the length of these trains will be almost 1.5 kilometers, and this was confirmed by the railways. The width of these trains will be 3660 millimeters or 12 feet and 1 by 8 inches, and the maximum height could reach almost 7100 mm or 23 feet 1 by 2 inches. Due to which the electric fences are placed in such a way that the two containers, when placed one on the top of the other, won't touch the fences, so that it may go easily under it, and also the engine may receive electricity from the wire. Under these corridors, WAG-12 will be one of the most important engine used. This type of engines have 2 coaches and 4 bogies carrying them, and the traction motor uses AC traction. This kind of engines produces an output power of 12,000 HP or 12,000 horsepower, which will be one of the most powerful freight locomotives in the world. Under these DFCs, the trains will travel at a speed of 100 km per hour, which is a massive breakthrough for Indian Railways. Currently, the freight trains that passes through the normal lines, which are also used by the local or the passenger trains, cannot attain a maximum speed of 60 also, due to the signaling system and due to the importance that are given only to the passenger train. But in these DFCs, the speed which will be attained by the train are very much achievable and very much appreciable to the Indian Railways. The signaling system that will be used in these railway tracks are MACL, which is, in these signals there will be 4 more most important signal poles. At the first one, when the first train comes, it will receive a green signal in the first one, and then when it leaves the second one, the first pole will become red, and the second will be green. Then again, when it reaches the third pole, the second will be red and the first one will become yellow. And the train, when it will reach the fourth pole, the first one will become double yellow, the second one will become single yellow, and the third pole, which is the train has just crossed, will become a red pole. And when it moves on to the next pole, the same procedures will start, and the first pole will become green, the second will become double yellow, the third will become single yellow, and the fourth will become red. Now, how do we understand the signaling system? So, when the train is passing through a station or a signal post, the train is going through a speed of 100 kilometers per hour, and there's a huge chance of getting an accident in this train. And right now we know already the trains would be around 1.5 kilometer long, which is a massive breakthrough for Indian Railway. When the train passes by, the next train can also come at the same place. So, to avoid major accidents, this signaling system has been used by Indian Railway. Under the signaling system, the green means go, and in this signal, the train can go at a speed of 100 km per hour. But when in the next signal it receives the double yellow, that means it has to reduce its speed to a certain limit, maybe 60 km per hour. Then, when the train reaches the third one and it sees a yellow signal, that means it has to reduce the speed to a lower value when it sees the yellow signal. And when the fourth one, when it sees the red one, it has to stop immediately, which means that in the next place there may be another train standing. So, to avoid major accidents, these signaling systems are the best and currently used by the Indian government. As we can see in this image, we have shown that, and the green means proceed, the yellow means caution, the single yellow and the double yellow both means caution, and the single yellow defines that in the next signal there may be a double red, which means the train need to stop at any cost. Now we will come to see from where the signaling systems and the train will be controlled. These trains will be controlled from Prayagraj. A state-of-the-art operational system has already been created over there. So this will keep an eye on the tracks and control all the trains. This system will also use radio communication with the driver or the pilot and the co-pilot, and they will track the trains with GSM based tracking. So all the trains will be built with GSM trackers. Though the headquarters is in Delhi, Pragati Maidan, but the control system is been created in Subedarganj in Prayagraj. So now we will come to see what is the economic advantages and disadvantages and what is the need of these railway systems in our country currently. As we know, this railway generates its revenue from passenger trains, goods trains or freight trains, and from advertisement. Most of the revenues that are generated by the Indian Railways comes from the freight or the goods carrying trains, which gives us 67% of profit. The passenger carrying trains only gives 7%, yes, 7% of the revenues that are generated for the railways. There is a reason why. When we look for passenger trains, we see that we all have a pilot, a co-pilot, a guard, and also we will see there are TTs or TCEs or TEs or GRPF, railway police, which are there for the maintenance of the rail and for the security of the passengers also. So there is a huge cost for looking after these kind of peoples. And for goods trains, what do we need? Only a guard, a pilot and a co-pilot. So a huge expenses are used only for the passenger trains, and also the importance are given only to passenger trains because passengers need to reach a place in time, but for goods which is not considered, out of which only 26% of the profit is earned from advertisement and other sources. So goods carrying trains or freight trains are very important for Indian Railways to earn a huge margin of profit, and out of which coal carrying trains gives the biggest amount of profit. So it was important for the Indian Railways to do something for the good carriaging trains. Now, with the making of this DFC, the advantage and the revenue that the Indian Railways will earn will be huge, and we are going to see how. When the normal tracks were used by the good trains, the passenger trains were given the most importance. So, we used to see that the goods carrying trains would always get stuck in a signal and the passenger trains would be left before a good train. This used to delay the freight trains. But now, with the introduction of DFCs, the important lines will be empty of passenger trains and dedicated only to the freight trains, due to which the goods can reach easily to a certain distance within a limited time, and which will be very much beneficial for the Indian government and Indian Railways. And also, these trains will be double stored. So, there will be two containers on the top of the other. So, the capacity of these trains will increase to a huge amount. Already, the Konkan Railways use the system of Ro-Ro trains where lorries or good carrying trucks would be loaded on the train and it will carry the trucks to a distance. But the DFCs wouldn't need a truck. So, the huge amount of goods will be carried to a huge distance within a short period of time, and due to which the diesel or the fossil fuel will be saved to a huge amount, the pollution will be reduced. We know there is a major pollution problem in Delhi and many other parts of the country, also in Kolkata and the major cities actually. So, when the pollution gets reduced, it will be beneficial for all of us. You may think, then what will happen to the truck drivers if they don't get job? Actually, no. We will see that this kind of trains only connects the major important places. But what about the subs places where the goods need to reach? How will they reach there? So over there we need the trucks. Though for a short distance, but still we need the trucks. Though the pollution will be very much lesser than the amount of pollution it used to emit when the trucks used to carry the goods for a huge distance. But now it will get reduced to a huge amount, which is beneficial for the environment also. Currently, the eastern and the western dedicated freight corridor are partly operational and few parts are under construction. But the east-west dedicated freight corridor, the north-south dedicated freight corridor and the east coast dedicated freight corridor are already announced in the 21-22 budget, and the south dedicated freight corridor is being proposed. So, a total length of around 8,359 kilometers of dedicated freight corridor passages are already proposed or are under construction or are announced in the budget. So a large distance will be covered under the dedicated freight corridor only, which will be very important for the economy of India to grow in a huge amount and to railways to earn a huge benefit, and also due to the introduction of DFC, the employments will also increase. As we know, whenever a new system is introduced, we need a huge number of employees, and we know that railways is actually a good place to get employed. So there is a huge chance of getting employed over there. Already right now the employment has already started, and we can see that in the website DFCCIL.com, which is the official website of DFCCIL or Dedicated Freight Corridor Corporation of India. So we can see that these DFCs or the dedicated freight corridors are very much important for our economy, as we are a developing country, and this can become a backbone for our country in few years, and it is estimated that all the corridor paths will be completed by the year 2050. So there is a massive chance that by 2050 India may become one of the world's leading powers. Thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe to my channel Railways and press the bell icon so that you may get notifications whenever I upload another video. So this was with my first video, and hope to see you soon again.